Welcome back to the channel again, Carmo and An, and we are here to give you the best positive energy possible on Twitch.
Yeah.
100%. As our channel says, it's positive DNA, and that's exactly what we practice. We are only positive people. We try to look at everything from a natural point of view. We are not naturalists or something like in that sense. But what we do is we look at everything positively. We look at everything with an aspect and an angle from a natural point of view, and that's how we approach many subjects that are out there, many feelings that people have. But most importantly, we do it with a lot of love, because if you don't have love, love conquers all. And trust me, the more that you think about it and the more that you do it, the more it makes you feel good. Whether you believe it whether you find it in a religious form, when you find it in a spiritual form, where you find it on our channel, which that's the way that we promote, is this real positive energy. We really enjoy the way that we do things. Anyway, getting on to the real meaty stuff of our channel, we always speak about not controversial subjects. We just like to speak about the way that we see things.
We like to make the subjects being less controversial.
That's right. We try not to put all the adjectives and the stars and the cream and the cherries on the top of it, and we try to get to the core of the subject and look at it from a completely natural point of view and say, is nature going to let this work or not let this work? We had an interesting conversation last week as well. For those of you that joined us, thank you very much. We were speaking about the famous environmentalist. What is she? She's an activist.
I would call famous teenager.
Yeah, famous teenager. That's the word. And that's being positive about it as well.
Yeah.
The famous teenager. And I just have, sort of just one thing to say. The famous teenager, good for her. She doesn't understand actually how adults are actually using her and abusing her, but that's fine. She'll work out probably later on. And obviously I wish her the best of luck. Her energy is very positive. Sorry, I'm not going to say positive. She's got a lot of energy. See, that's what she's got. A lot of energy. I think she could learn a little bit more manners personally. The way that she says things to adults is because when you speak to a person that's older than you, you should never be rude. You should respect them. And if you want to get your message across, you don't need to be aggressive with the words that you use.
You don't have to show anger.
Yeah, that's right. You don't have to show anger
in a subject that can be logically debated.
That's the word. That's the word.
So much get lost.
Yes.
When the people have this approach, being full of anger and becoming emotional, and we can't forget that she's a teenager.
That's right.
With cameras on her.
Yeah.
And with lights on her, and this is a very dangerous combination.
Of course I have to watch a couple of things to understand. The patterns. I'm always looking at the patterns of people, and then you start to work out the character of the person. And I noticed that she's obviously reading off something all the time. She's reading off something all the time, or she's learned her lines well. But up in a normal debate, she's throwing these numbers out there of about what scientists have said, this, that, and the next thing. But it's good on you for certain things for the environment, but I have a question to you, young lady. Okay, I would like to ask you, how come you're not pointing a finger at two big continents or two big countries? One is Africa, which burns the most amount of fossil fuels possible, right? And secondly, China, for pumping enough pollution into the air that you can possibly imagine.
And the African continent, I'm sorry to
Please, no, please.
African continent together with China, they have the astonishing number of more than 60% of the trash who goes to the ocean comes from the African continent and China only.
Yoo-hoo!
So it's like you try to describe the White House, but you don't want to say it's white. It's weird.
Yeah.
It is weird. Like I said, there is a kind of dishonest intellectual contortionism
Yeah. And this is always a beautiful word. I love this word.
to push one.
I love this word.
To push one nonsense agenda.
Yeah.
She's just a teenager. A teenager with lights on her, bad parents.
Yeah, that's very bad parents, really. That's I'd be not embarrassed. I wouldn't say embarrassed.
She's an Asperger. No? She's autistic. No?
That's right. She's
sad.
That's right. It's actually sad. It's sad, and then she will probably realize later on. But I don't think she's seeing the actual reality. If you're so against the climate and that, why don't you sail to Africa, and why don't you sail around and see what's happening in Africa?
She wouldn't know where is Africa, even if Africa itself fall
on top of her
on her head. No, she's just a Swedish girl.
That's right. Or you'd ask her where Egypt is, and that's not Africa, she'd probably say, or something like that. Stupid.
Middle East.
That's right. So we, it's not being against the young lady. I don't agree with everything she says. I don't agree with everything she says, but at the same time as well, it's very unfortunate that adults will abuse a child and use her as some kind of human shield to place in front. And I heard, I don't know, I haven't seen the bank account and I haven't seen who paid who, but apparently Mr. Soros is apparently backing
Meta-capitalist.
Backing her right behind her. And there's another interesting lady as well, which always stands behind her also as well, and an activist as well, a 23-year-old lady, activist for, I think, environmental activist of some kind. It's just really, really interesting.
23 years old. It's, I don't know, maybe I have this retrograde thought, but I can't see much like density.
No, that's right. There's
I don't see, unless you are someone special,
like a prodigy of some kind.
When I'm talking about special, it's not what your mom says that what you are. I mean, the person is really special.
Right.
And when we are talking about special people, they are really special It's very few people who can consider themselves special.
Right.
Not what your mom is saying, like you are special.
You're special.
No? And unless you are those special people, there is not much to listen. And the thing is, why those subjects they are never approached in an honest way? Why always need to be dishonest? Why always need to play with someone's emotion? Why always need to have these big emotional speeches? I understand that in politics, when we are talking about big movements, usually win the most emotional ones, because it's when revolutions start, because people get emotional and do crap. But when we are, if you wanna be serious, talking like about the global warming, those things, if it's a serious discussion, speak seriously.
Yeah.
Don't do jokes. Don't do a joke like putting a 16-year-old Swedish girl trying to teach the world how they should behave. She's just repeating things it's been said decades. There's nothing new there.
Yeah.
There's nothing new.
Well,
nothing new. That's why I say it's a balloon of air.
There
is nothing.
But Kadmo, what was also interesting as well is the scientists, apparently NASA scientists, which said apparently that it's something. The sun is the sun. Obviously, is heating up the world. It's the sun that heats up the world. You know, the global warming. But it's the angle of the sun as it goes slowly over thousands of years closer towards the sun and then goes away from the sun. But there's people which say that this was actually a complete lie. NASA never said this. It's like, well, for God's sake, why do people go out of their way?
And why? Yeah. That's a very, very interesting.
I mean, like a whole write-up, man.
And you know, I can't understand why people give credibility. And when she talks about like the scientists and this and that, you know, here comes again my skepticism when someone says like someone is special or someone is a scientist. We can count like in a very, very few number of people who really have a scientific mind.
Yeah.
I'm not saying reproducing the science of the textbooks. I say the person who creates science, they have a very scientific mind. This is fucking rare.
Yeah.
You're not only special, you have a scientific mind. You are Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
You are someone, you know, and that's why we can't rely much on those, because they keep saying the scientists this, scientists that, and they never hit on the right spot.
Yeah.
It's all every year comes something different. In 1960s was having advertisement, doctors recommending to you smoke cigarette because it was good for your health. You know? And in Brazil until 1950s they was selling marijuana in the pharmacies. You know, it's not that, you know, precise.
Yeah.
And that's why we got to be very careful with those nasty agendas who want to make a big tsunami, surf on this tsunami, and what happened next.
That's right. And as the tsunami, it's nice when you surf on it, if you are able to surf on it. But let me tell you now, when that wave crashes,
they don't care with the damage.
That's right.
That's why I say those things, those agendas, those social experiments like the eco-fascism now, people go green, go this, and those extreme ideologies, it's a bit too far to push. At this period of the humanity, it's a bit too far to push.
Well, like, you know, it's just pushing it's pushing an agenda onto somebody, and make no mistake, there is people sitting behind this big agenda which is going to make a shitload of money.
Yeah, because one thing
it's about money.
We got to be honest, and I always remember, it's all about money.
That's what it is.
It is all about money. Forget the lilies, forget the roses, forget the pine trees, forget the baboons, forget the whales, for everything. Forget everything. It's about money. It's about money. So people shouldn't be that delusional.
Yeah.
Thinking that a Swedish girl gonna start a movement to no. You got to be very special to start something, for good or bad. Or Mao Zedong, or you know, someone Saint Thomas Aquinas, or Aristotle. You know, you got to be someone very special. When they say special again, man, special.
That's right.
Fucking hard.
That's right. There's not many people that can do that.
No.
But it's just so interesting how the world gets so caught up in this massive agenda of all of a sudden overnight, because they are able to put one girl in front, but you know, and make everybody get so excited about the whole damn thing.
Emotional. My God.
That's right. We've got to do something. We've got to do something.
Doing
press
those
the button.
faces just because she's a young girl, and like, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's like, if she was that clever, or if she was that activist, how come in the schools we never have a young teacher of that age? You can't, because you've got no experience in the draw.
No, yeah.
You know,
like one of our viewers before said, so you're saying if a 80 years old person said the same thing that she said, you're gonna give more credibility to the 80 years old. Oh yeah, of course I'm gonna give more credibility to the 80 years old.
Of course.
He lived a bit more than her.
Just a little bit more.
You know? And people are losing the sense of proportion. It's bizarre. Started again with this also started in the same movement in New York on the 60s, that many advertiser and guys who worked with publicity,
Right.
they wanted to reverse the society perspective that before people was praising the old people because they was wiser, they was having more knowledge, they was having more experience, and they reversed to the youth. So people started to praise the youth, and then came the fucking Woodstock, and then shit was spread everywhere. So people were starting to cultivate the youth. It was like a cult. Be young is cool. Be young is the good thing. Be old is bad.
And you look at all big fashion brands now. They're going the same way now.
Same way.
They are aiming at the young generation.
Because it works. Because young people, they are a dangerous combination of being like without doing anything. It's they don't have a productive time.
Right.
They have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
People gonna laugh or smile now, but they have a huge sexual tension,
Yeah.
which causes you to do many stupid things.
Yeah.
Because as
But
one friend
it's
of mine
it's
said,
instantaneous.
one friend of mine said, everything that you do in life is to fuck someone.
Yeah, that's what, well.
Yeah,
he's not lying.
You know,
He's not lying.
Not being pernicious or taking me out of
No,
the context
that's right.
or something.
No.
But you know, you put in on this aspect of this youth, and you have the smart people.
Yeah.
The smart people are controlling those shitheads,
Yeah.
and that is the problem. That is the problem, because it's just a matter of hit the button. No,
Yes.
this is good. Go and do this, and this huge mass of horny teenagers
Yeah.
gonna do all shit. We can see this in the Chinese Revolution. That's
Yeah.
what happened.
Well, in the Chinese Revolution, how was it? Or the older generation was, or the powerful generation was?
What Mao Zedong did was, he, instead of targeting the wiser people, those like high military or etc. No, he started to work with the youth, because he knew the youth had the energy, the fearlessness. They was fierceless,
100%.
and they was able to do anything, even killing their own parents, because the traditional family was a symbol of a reactionary, like oppressive structure.
Right.
And they did the same with their teachers. Many teachers was decapitated in public square. So, you know, starting from this thing, you can justify many shit.
I was thinking as I was coming home coming to your place today, and I was saying to myself, in Mao Zedong's regime, and I'll say the regime, how many people died? They say 60 to 100 million.
I believe something about 90 million people.
Jesus. And if it was 90 million, at the same time it was being 90 million, how many Jewish people died only in the Second World War?
No, we don't know.
6-7 million?
No,
maybe?
I don't believe in this number. This is just a
So,
existent number.
So the people, and this is no.
Yeah.
I was thinking this.
No, people
over my
lost
head.
the sense of proportion.
That's right. The proportion is completely different, and it's like, how can you guys keep freaking out about
No,
one
but
little number?
The thing about the Jews is they use the propaganda machine as like saying, this is a specific violence against a specific group. Then that's why it's worse than all, because it's against one it's targeted. That's why it's worse.
Because it was really interesting for me while they say, they're able to pull the Nazi out of the closet, this word Nazi, and now they have the neo-Nazi.
I don't know what the hell is a neo-Nazi.
I don't even know what a neo-Nazi is, but they're pulling this word. That's right. They pull the word Nazi out. As whatever they did, all right, well, why don't you pull fucking Mao Zedong out of the fucking closet? No, because it's the same race on the same race.
Yeah, because
Yeah, but hold on now, it's still people killing one another.
because those regimes, those communists, those socialists, they all support each other. They support the media. They support the artists, and people make no mistake on wars change things, but it's only the cultural revolution who deeply changes a country from the root, the very
Right.
base.
Right.
War can change the surface. It's the cultural revolution. That's why it's called the Chinese Cultural Revolution,
Right.
because it changed the culture. So this is the only way that it's the most powerful way to change the one society to become those authoritarians. It's the cultural revolution. You can do this for good, like had the I forgot the name in English. The period of enlightening.
All right, Enlightenment, yeah, the Renaissance.
The
Renaissance.
Renaissance
Yeah.
was for good.
Yeah.
And you had the Chinese Revolution, the Cultural Revolution, which was for bad. So only when you change the culture you have the real power. Wars is just surface. People die. War is hell.
That's right. Isn't it interesting as well that Mao Zedong as well, he would sort of leave the older generation. I mean, if you really think about what his goal actually was, to put an atomic bomb just to delete everything first and then build it up from zero would have been probably the ideal.
Yeah.
The ideal way, but instead of that,
No, but Mao was more smart than this.
Yeah.
And Mao, he got the benefit of the right timing to do the things. The world was on the Second World War,
Right.
and they was focused in other problems. So Mao got the advantage of timing,
Right.
and this was crucial for Mao Zedong regime. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to be that successful. He in a period of history, he was really cornered by Chiang Kai-shek.
Taiwan, eh?
The opposite army, which was the leader of the Kuomintang, the rival party of the Communist Party. At one point, he was really cornered. But the Kuomintang was so busy fighting against the Japanese in the North China that it was very complicated. At this period, even the Kuomintang asked for alliance with the communists to fight against the Japanese. And Mao was a fucking clever guy. He immediately accepted. And then he co-opted many people for his side too.
Right.
Because inside of the Kuomintang was also having this partition, this division. Because this is a crazy story. Before, the Kuomintang was more associated to communists, even if in the future they was completely anti-communist.
Right.
So it's a crazy history. China was happening everything for Mao, no? Everything on the right time, right place. He was make no mistake. He did make his own luck.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, but it was highly
Productive.
time for him.
Highly productive and highly what's the word? Destroy, cut down, kill, eradicate.
Because you see, the biggest mass death in China was when Mao had the fantastic idea of the plan called the Great Leap Forward. Was when he decided to get almost all the people who was working in the fields producing food and put them to produce steel and iron. And people literally starved to death because no one was producing food. So 35 to 40 million people died on this great leap forward. He literally leaped over bodies. So it was his amazing plan. That's the thing of the communists, the communist leaders. They don't have any kind of
compassion.
It's more specific. They don't see limits in what they can do because they think everything is for the revolution. Everything is for a greater goal. So the sacrifice is necessary. But when you put this narrative too strongly, you end up with a very big pile of corpses, like 90 million pile, you know.
Fuck.
You can justify
Just
many
can't,
things.
just
many
can't
things,
imagine, man.
you know. And it's
90.
crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy how Mao did he managed his life. He was having two addictions: cigarette and women. He was a womanizer. Of course, when you have a certain level of power, you attract
Yeah.
the opposite sex, like light in the, you know,
Like
flies in the light.
flies in the light, lights in the fly.
Yeah, and he had a very simple life, weirdly simple. The guy was using more than 40 years the same sleeper and clothes and hat and sleeping in bed without mattress, only folded blanket.
Yeah.
Was a weird person. And if we observe through the history, those big leaders, no mistake, he was a great leader. Even evil was a great leader, great evil leader.
Yeah.
They always have this eccentric personality.
Yeah.
Something it's out of the box. Something is different. Like Pol Pot in Cambodia,
Yeah.
he had a problem with his own native language, the Khmer language. What was his solution? Let's ban the Khmer language. Now everyone from today, everyone speaks French in my country. Well, how the hell are you gonna do this? It's impossible. So he ended up with like 3 million dead too. You know, it's always have those crazy things.
The genocide, the race cleansing.
Yeah, they have this very peculiar, let's say peculiar way of thinking in some things. They are very eccentric.
So Mao, what was his? You know, you talk about the Mao regime. So you had he was very, you know, on that sexist part or the sex part of the thing. What was the crazy stuff they did?
He had many wives, and because on the communist party and the communist ideology, the women, of course, not all lines of communism, but in the main one, more Marxist, says that the woman have like the same. It's the same. Basically, it's the same. Then the men. So they don't need to have those formal commitments like marriage, because this impose like one authoritarian structure of family and etc. You know, it's everything to make the cult of the state. You know, the state is God. State is like today in China, no?
Right.
And you know.
And how many kids did he have?
He had many kids. Many died too. Many kids died.
They were killed, or they were.
They was killed. They born with bad formation. They died young. They starved. Many crazy. His first two wives got insane. He was a very crazy guy.
Yeah, well, if you're sleeping on a floor with no mattress, it's like shit.
Yeah, and he was switching the day to the night. He was sleeping during day, and doing things during night. And this mess up also your brain. You know, there is a big effect on this. So those people, yeah, weird. Of course, Mao was a voracious at studying tactics of war, of guerrilla warfare. He have one very good book, very good. It's a good lecture about the guerrilla warfare. It's like a manual, and it changed many things in terms of war strategy. And yeah, he was spending most of his time smoking cigarettes, banging strangers, and studying about war. That's it. Yeah, and together with a very, very cunning and very ambitious mind, because he was restless. He didn't care to do the Great March in a horse or in the snow, or sleep on the barn, or sleep on the floor, or be without eat. The guy just didn't care about anything. He had a greater goal. So this is the part that I admire on him, because he was really, really persistent and really smart. And his ability to be connected with the reality was also extremely powerful, because he was always connected to the peasantry, to the workers. So he could feel. He was even avoiding to take shower because he didn't want to smell good, like the bourgeois, you
Yeah,
know,
the bourgeoisie. Yeah.
yeah, bourgeoisie, and he wanted to smell like the workers, because this way he felt connected to the people. So it's,
That's pretty fucking insane, man.
yeah, the guy took many things to the extreme.
Damn.
That's why he was successful. Yeah.
I mean, you as a worker as well. It's like shit. Yeah, this guy's me, or this guy's close to me. So it's
Yeah.
that's just the way it is.
Yeah, and the guy was really stinky, really stinky. Yeah, very few times he took bath.
Shit.
Mm.
Fuck. That must.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. And there is even one of his friends on the beginning of his career. They were saying they didn't know sometimes which one was harder, if was to listen Mao arguments or his smell. They didn't know which one would be the worst to endure.
Or otherwise, you just take a little fan with some nice lavender spray and just put it on him like this, or in another direction
Yeah.
like that, to make sure that the wind is blowing the wrong way.
Yeah, you got. And
Make
this
sure that
thing
you
needed
upwind
to-
and not downwind.
Needed to wash with some horse stuff to make it clean, because perfume there was just a band-aid.
Jeez, when did he meet? Did he meet other presidents and prime ministers from around the world?
He did meet Richard Nixon,
Wow. Did he have a,
Gorbachev from Russia,
Yeah, that's
many other leaders.
but did he have a bath then?
Nope.
Shit.
Mom was nasty, literally.
Damn, stank right down to the fucking last grain.
Yeah, the guy was really hard, and because he, of course, was part of his mindset. He didn't want to waste water. He didn't want to. Many times they was bringing food to him. The food was staying there like 2 days. He wouldn't eat because he was so focused on what he was doing and smoking so much that he wouldn't pay attention on the food. And after 2 days, he would eat the rotten food, no problem. It was like a big rat.
Shit. Towards the end,
Not a rat, a vulture, ne?
That's right. Towards the end, he was quite his physique. He was quite fat in the end.
He was a bit fatter, but of course, at his last days, his life changed a lot, because he was not more on the social movements, and he was more like a figure,
Right.
like more not a symbol. That's why he was a chairman, and
Oh, that's why it says Chairman Mao.
yeah.
Aha.
And then but make no mistake, still sleeping on the bed without mattress, same slippers, same clothes, basically.
He died 60s, 70s.
70 something.
That's right,
remember.
73.
Yeah.
70,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. I mean, just to hear the extremists, and that the world now, all the wonderful social justice warriors that are around in the world, that talk about trivial, and I'll say trivial, absolutely nothing, air. When they keep on speaking about air subjects,
Mao,
it's like
yeah.
go and speak
Mao
about
would have
real-
a very simple answer to those people, called Lao Gai. Lao Gai, it's the Chinese term for reform through work. Working fields would put them straight to the labor camps. They would
Yeah.
work until death. That's it. Very simple answer. Mao was not emotional at all. No problem. You don't know what you want to do. You don't know what you're doing. I know what you can do. Work until death. Very simple. So he was taking very simple decisions, actually. Like when he was doing the Great March. I don't know how many miles. 7,000 miles was ridiculous amount of miles, because he was escaping from the Kuomintang army, and the only solution was really march so much, like ridiculous number, and he did, and he survived. That's it.
What
Pushing through the limit.
This was when he was how old? He was not too young.
No. He was 30 to 40.
That's right, around 30, 40,
Yeah,
right, when he did that.
End of 30, 40 something. Very extreme, hardcore person.
Jeez.
Yeah. His horse that he used on the Great March, it's preserved in a Chinese museum. They preserved his horse.
Wow.
Yeah.
What, they put it inside some formalin or something like that? I think
It's stuffed. Like hard. Yeah, he was a crazy guy. Crazy guy. And he was criticizing people who was expending money with frivolous stuff like nonsense, but he was addicted in cigarette and was expending a serious amount of money with his favorite brand of cigarette. So they have this kind of they are paradoxal.
It was Chinese brand.
Chinese brand. Yeah, I don't remember the name of the cigarette. But they have this paradoxal
He
personality.
died of natural causes.
I don't know if someone like him can die naturally. I don't know. It's sad, yeah.
It was at least it was a person that we learnt by of what to do, and also as well not what not to do.
Yeah. The thing is like it's too many things mixed about Mao Zedong, because he came from a very simple, not poor, but very simple family from China countryside, in a very traditional system, like a caste system. And his father was a very hard worker, even if he was a very rough person. And his mother, he had a very deep love for his mother. Said was one of the sweetest person, and so he had love. He just didn't like to work on his father orders, and he wanted too much to educate himself. Because at that time in China, in those regions, you was needing to choose if you will educate yourself or you gonna work in your parents' farm.
Is there any of Mao's family left over, which is sort of any dynasty position or anything like that?
No, but he have kids alive today. They are like generals in China. No? They're like generals, but it's like that's the thing when you create a monster.
Yeah.
Sooner or later you're gonna be eaten by the monster. The Chinese system right now don't give a damn anymore about Mao Zedong. Thank you very much, my friend. Don't give a damn anymore. Even Mao said he didn't want picture, he didn't want anything. And
it was really extreme, man.
It was really extreme. He had the dream of, because of his now I sounded like Martin Luther King. I had a dream. And he had this dream of to change the bad things of the old systems in China. He was particularly tired and offended how Chinese was treated by the British and some other countries. But this was exceptions, and he took, like, of course you should fight against injustice anywhere, but he took him too extreme, you know. At that period of history, the Chinese man was called the sick man of Asia, and he hated very much this title. And it was his dream to build, instead of shrines, instead of temples, build universities, build hospitals, you know, doing those things to progress, to be powerful, to be equal. He had this thing, but I think through the course of history, he saw the reality kind of changed the shape in front of him. That's why he changed it too. He changed it a lot from the beginning of his life to the end of his life. He changed.
Wasn't it in the beginning that he went and ordered all the people that had education to be killed?
No. This what I'm talking. It's the very beginning of his life when he was teenager.
Yeah, that's right.
First decisions, and he started to study in a school. I think was 11 to 12 years old. He was already big boy, and he was even having a hard time to be accepted in the school.
That's right. That's correct.
Yeah. But he was very persistent. Very persistent. At that time, he didn't have any contact with any Marxism textbooks or anything. In fact, he never studied deeply Marxism.
Yeah.
Never.
I think it was Marxism studied him.
Yeah, basically. He created his own version of communism, which is Maoism, which is very different from the Soviet format. Very different. Because he, through the history and through the events of his life, he realized that the Soviet frame for revolution wouldn't fit in China, because it was too diverse, too many different cultures. China is big with many different cultures around him, and he was sure that no, this is not gonna work. It's a too bourgeoisie. It's like too fancy for Chinese people. Chinese people are too raw.
We see it now.
You know? Yeah.
We see it now.
Yeah, and you know, he had, how I can say, well, of course, probably he had very good people around him too. Very smart people. He had many smart people, but he never ever hold himself to use people in his favor. Never. He would put not his best friend, but his second best friend in the line of fire for his goal. Because his best friend from the teenager period, they separated each other, and his best friend went to Uruguay to live in Uruguay.
Wow.
And they was arguing day and night about ideologies, because he was having a firm belief in the Marxism and communism. His friend was more like anarchistic, didn't want any kind of government, because Mao ideas that way or another would end in some authoritarian regime, and he really didn't fucking want this. And there was many nights discussing, crying each other, trying to convince his best friend to change this, and they didn't manage to do. And his friend went to Uruguay.
Wow.
It's crazy, very.
Is that part of the family still there? You think?
Still there.
Maybe he made the right choice, huh?
No. Big government, never a good choice.
So we're eating wasabi.
Tabekiri. Wasabi, 本当に。 So, yeah. And about Mao, it's interesting because he had a very long life. He was one of the dictators who had the longest dictators.
Fidel Castro was second, maybe, yeah?
Yeah, I can't see Mao. I can't say that Mao was like a dictator. Was not like Castro.
No.
Mao was too in the people. He delegated many powers. He spread the powers. Even if he was the most powerful, and he, make no mistake, he wanted to remain the most powerful because he knew which strings to pull. He knew that's why like a week after his death, his wife was put in a trial.
Jesus.
Yeah. Madame Mao. And she was a wicked woman, make no mistake. That was a evil woman.
Don't we see a pattern all the time?
Yeah, there is always these patterns.
Nelson Mandela, your wife was
Yeah.
fucking hell.
Yeah.
She was a wicked woman of the fucking Africa, one of them.
Yeah, and you see how powerful he was. He was having, imagine how many secrets was buried with this man, like serious secrets, you know. And yeah, he was one of the.
What was his wife tried for?
By conspiracy, treason, and some other things that I don't remember. She was a person in a level that after she started to live with Mao and got power because she was the person who was controlling the communist propaganda in China. So she was having a very important role, and she was a famous actress. So she understood that the cultural revolution needed to start through the art, to the music, to the, she was a very clever woman. And what she did was she got the secret police and ordered to kill all her exes and their families.
Damn.
And she was famous for being bad with many people. So Mao didn't care at all.
There was nothing.
There was nothing for him. And so she was this kind of person. And she's killed many politicians too, many things. Yeah, this woman was a wicked woman. Wicked woman.
The wicked woman, the wicked witch of not the east,
Yeah.
sorry, not of the west, of the east.
Yeah.
It's always for me, it's just so incredible that world history doesn't talk about these atrocities, as much as we are sort of taught in Western. I don't know the curriculum now for for Europe or for America, for Australia, for all the sort of Western speaking, and even every European, even Russia probably as well, and even South America as well, but all the history that gets taught. For example, a fact in Germany that they wouldn't teach them too much of actually the good that Hitler went and did.
No.
There's nothing good. Everything 100% is bad. And then if you say to yourself, hold on now, what was his
But it's interesting that they don't admit if Germany today is powerful was because of the National Socialist regime. It's not making the judgment saying I was good or bad. No. It's in a matter of fact.
What was the thing? The number that you were telling me about, was it money or something? After the Second World War, they had.
After the Second World War, when they split Germany, the economy of Germany was not broken.
That's fucking incredible, man.
How he did this? It's really incredible.
Wow.
So it was not broken. Of course, it was having the war expenditure, but the economy was not.
Here's me speaking hypothetically now. If by any chance Hitler didn't take Poland and he didn't attack any other place, but just keep increasing the firepower and the patriotism of Germany, do you think the rest of the Western world would have let him?
No.
They would have attacked her.
No.
They
No
would have
chance.
made. They would have made an excuse.
No chance. No chance. The only way, as in war, you only won war with alliances. You can't win. They're not talking about the medieval times. Even in medieval times, the alliances were extremely important. See the history of the United Kingdom. How many times the Saxons was needing to make alliances with even small Viking tribes, with Celtics, with was war is about alliances. War is about alliances, and strategically speaking, Hitler didn't make good alliances.
Yeah,
this was his mistake. The people who allied themselves with the National Socialist Germany was good for them.
Yeah,
it's like I have a strong friend, but the friend of this strong guy, it's not strong.
Shit.
And he, it was weird. It was weird. And the other thing is, in some fronts, important battle fronts, which Hitler personally took the decisions, was disastrous. He was not good at strategy on the table. He was not. He was a good speaker. He was a good leader. Motivation. He was great at Paul. Everyone knows how powerful was Hitler's speeches.
And that's why, because this part of him, which was actually so powerful, people actually want to play this part down by placing, this Nazi SS
No.
nonsense.
This is about people who never listened to one of the Hitler speeches. If you listen to Hitler's speech,
He's like shit.
it's beautiful. It's fantastic. It's it's really
if you just look at it, without emotion, and you say to yourself, well, even with emotion, you say, all right, is this for the good of your people? And
Yeah.
if you are from that country, and you're saying this person is showing the love for your country, it's like, well, what can be wrong with it? You can't find the wrong.
Yeah.
That's why today, as we were watching on the news, is Donald Trump. Donald Trump saying, I will do everything for the country to make it better, and then you still get people, it's like, dudes, this guy has pledged his betterment of, he has pledged the betterment of, for better things for the country, and you still say that this guy's a horrible guy. How the hell is this possible?
This is a very serious problem of these new generations. Is they know exactly what they don't want, but they have no idea of what they want.
That's right. So what do you want? That's what do you want? Show me.
That's why I keep saying the people live in denial. They live in denial. They want to deny everything. Deny the truth, deny themselves, deny everything.
That's why I find it extremely interesting is when you have these, these people that stand up and do the speeches inside the universities.
We want Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, we want Bernie Sanders. No.
Good luck with that, my friend.
I find it...
Make yourself at home.
Welcome. I find this extremely interesting is when people stand up and they're able to attack these people that are making the speeches, but at the same time as well, if you say to them, all right, how would you look at it? Oh no, just against. It's easy to destroy, but what is the other option?
Yeah.
They don't have another option.
And there is the thing specifically about Donald Trump that when he starts to, I did heard Trump speaking something. Did you say Trump? 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 What? Trump? Doesn't matter what he said or what he did. The problem is not what he have done.
Yeah.
It's who he is.
That's
It's
right.
the problem for people.
That's it.
They taking personally. That's the thing. That's the dangerous thing. That's the ad hominem.
And then
that
you say to them,
attacking.
and then you say to him, "Oh, what is the thing? Oh no, he's a horrible person." No, stop the horrible person thing.
Yeah, everyone who says this is amazing person.
That's right. Well,
Perfect one.
okay, well, what would you do? Come on, what would you do? And they don't have a plan A or a plan B. They have nothing. They just have destroy, find and destroy, kill.
And people don't
It's
know
like
how.
you're killing.
People don't know how to take care of their cats. Cats. They feel lazy to change the sandbox.
Yeah, you're right.
They don't.
And it's like, can you imagine
It's
it's like you going to your toilet and saying, shit, the toilet's dirty, all right, I should clean it.
But
And it's like, well, when you go to the toilet, you want to clean it and sit in a clean fucking toilet. And it's not talking about your house toilet. Your house toilet is always clean. I'm talking about when you go to a public toilet as well. Not all of them are perfect. Thank God we live in Japan because they are all really clean here in Japan, like super clean. But at the same time as well is, you don't want to. Why do you want to live in a stupid place? You can't do one simple thing, but you can complain about everything else.
that's the problem of people who don't know what they want.
Kill is easy. Find and destroy.
Yeah.
Find and kill. It's the two easiest
Because
movements.
if you see those people, they always share the same trait, which is, doesn't matter if they are in the power, they need enemies. They need to have someone who is antagonistic, someone to attack, someone to be evil. You know why? Because example for them, the figure of responsibility, the figure of being one ideal, somehow offends them. Because at every moment, that example, that very powerful example, it's judging them. And they can't live with this judgment. That's why they feel suffocated.
Right.
They want to destroy everything. because they can't live with that example, that powerful example who is all the time judging them. You can't do this. Why you don't do this? Why you don't do this? And they feel like judged all the time. And then you create this legion of.
But you know, but the same thing as well. I'd like to say to them as well. But if you're destroying everything, what comes of?
Thank you very much. Please,
Thank you.
friends, make yourself at home.
Welcome. Get your coffee, get your tea ready, and get your snacks ready.
Thank you, Sam. Hello, Ryan. How are you?
Welcome,
friends?
welcome. We'd love to know where all of you guys are from and girls are from, and we really would like you to take part in our conversation. We speak about everything, literally everything. And as Karma and myself have been on the topic, we've gone from the famous the famous young lady. I'm not sure, young girl. The teenager who's becoming very, very famous, all the way to Russia. We've gone to Mao Zedong and told how he managed to kill 90 million people.
His regime.
That's his regime. All the way back to Hitler.
And
now we are on the wonderful social justice warriors, which have what's the word? Anxiety complex,
and on the clicking generation.
That's right.
Everything
click and kill.
You're
able to like something with a click, but so they feel the social sort of ideology of being able to kill something with a click as well. It's unfortunately it doesn't work like that. Karmo and myself, Karmo and I, Karmo and on our channel we like to speak about everything from a positive point of view, but also as well from a realistic point of view. And that is why we like listening to all of your comments, and also as well your ideology of the way that you look at things. We are not aggressive or derogatory towards anybody. We absolutely love everybody. We want, and it's not like a peace kind of thing. It's we do disagree with certain things that people say, and we try to give our point of view as well in a non-aggressive way as well, because this way we are able to create a better conversation with you, because without you our conversation will not be as interesting. So please tell us where you're from, and I don't know, shoot us some questions about all the craziness that's going on in the world, and the stuff which we find mostly not even a reality, a false reality that the media throws at us.
And this thing that I was saying, that those kind of people, they feel this. Thank you very much, my friend. Those figure not only antagonistic to them because they are somehow powerless to do something for themselves. They can't help themselves to start something productive, because of course it's a spiral of problems. It starts from they don't have parents at home, the houses are shattered, it's changing roles. They don't
that's
have
a real interesting point.
They don't have a north anymore. So they feel that they need to belong to something. Yes. And then they go to those groups who also they feel they need to belong to something. And you have a bunch of people.
Then they go extreme because they believe that this is the right way to do things.
Yeah, they go extreme because they don't know the power of moderation.
Yeah.
They don't know the power of moderation. Yeah. And if we observe Mother Nature, she most of the time uses the power of moderation.
Yeah.
Only when it's necessary, something bad happen. Not bad because nature is not prejudice.
No.
But you get these people who need to feel connected with other people.
Yeah.
And you get this formless mass of people who don't know what they do. They feel oppressed by the examples because they can't help themselves, and they want to blame. They want to blame someone. They need to blame again, as I said.
That's right.
They need to have the antagonistic because they can't blame themselves.
That's right. And blaming is real easy because you just point and shoot.
They can't blame themselves. That's why they need to create, because they're not gonna take responsibility. It's not part of their life. They don't have this example. So it's a very delicate and it's a very complex thing to change. After grow up,
I probably guarantee you, Karmo, if I can just say over there, I probably guarantee that these people, they didn't make their bed in the morning.
Mm.
No, seriously.
No,
These are the people that don't make their bed in the morning.
No. It's people.
The simple things.
They, of course, it comes all together. There is the lack of sense of discipline.
Yeah.
Lacking of sense of discipline. You know, people can criticize me much as they want, but for example, something that I'm very against in university is liberal arts. Liberal arts. You can study about many things. So at the end, you study about many things, and you don't learn anything.
Yeah,
you become, like I say, a big shallow lake. You don't see more specialized knowledge.
There's no depth.
There is no depth on studies anymore. It's everything subjective.
Yeah.
There is no the grass is green anymore. There is the Z.
Yeah, not the K or the Y.
You know, so yeah, it's a serious problem. And then when come those big leaders, big figure, not saying it's good or bad, I'm talking about the figure,
Right.
like Donald Trump,
Yes.
they feel that it's all the time judging them.
He's not judging them at all.
But they feel because it's like he managed to go there no matter what. And they feel like, if I'm here, what you gonna do? You can't do anything. You are powerless. And they feel powerless because of this. You see, for example, the if we see the it's a even one lecture on YouTube, very interesting, but it's a good example of the David statue.
All right.
He was a pastor, which was a big deal for his time, and now he was fighting with slingshot against lions. You're fighting against the lions with the slingshot. So when you observe that statue, you that statue is kind of judging you. I was a pastor fighting against lions with a slingshot, and what are you doing? So this is a very judgmental thing. This is very deep to think.
Right, it is.
Imagine. So those figures have these effects on those people who don't have any base, any structure, any example. So it's pretty damn harmful.
And that's why I think as well that always groups, you get these groups where people naturally tend to join one another because they want to feel connected somehow.
Yeah.
And this you know this and it's very, very easy to find something that is against. It's against because there's a lot of emotion that's getting involved in it, and because they get drawn into sucked into this,
Yeah.
and then it's easy to aim and shoot and you shout. It's when did a teacher teach you something that you shouted at them?
Yeah, of course we are social creatures. We tend to associate ourselves with people that we recognize ourselves, and that's why we're friends.
There's it.
We recognize ourselves in the people, and we tend to associate ourselves with
I got a good bit of ideology, my friend, if I can say.
Of course.
The people are trying to be lions, but they're not. Row!
Yeah.
Taking a big roar.
Yeah.
Row! You're against everything like that, but you're not even a lion.
Yeah. And they associate themselves with those kind of very problematic people. And the problem is, in these groups, it's not the bunch of problematic people. It's who is controlling the problematic people.
Yep. That's what it is.
The smart person.
That's it.
The smart person.
And it's easy to use the pawns of emotion.
That's the problem when you don't take responsibilities of things. When you don't create responsibility unconsciously, you end becoming a pawn.
Yeah.
Because
Click.
you lose the sense of individuality. You just want to do things following your emotions.
Yeah.
And this is extremely dangerous. It's very obvious.
But I think many people are blinded by many people are blinded by this absolute reality, and that's fine. I mean, that's just the way that the world turns, and you get people that are clever and people that are not clever, irrelevant in the whole world, and creates the balance.
Of course, what we say, this is the bad part.
Mm.
But what is more important, infinitely more important, it's a good part, which is you can reverse this.
Yes.
How? Create your own traditions.
That's it. Absolutely.
Observe
Absolutely,
Mother
man.
Nature.
Absolutely.
Love everyone. But you're telling me to love everyone. This is impossible. How am I gonna love the rapist? How am I gonna love the terrorists? How am I gonna love the dictators? Yes, you can. You don't love their actions.
That's right.
You love the human. We can't lose the empathy on humanity. We are humans. We should love each other. We should love people. And
Well, more is created with love than.
of course, there is no matter of a comparison of evil or good. The good is going to be always superior. There is no there. This is not a discussion.
That's right, not a discussion.
That's why we should start our own traditions. You know, start small. Start with a good morning. Start off with a thank you. I'm sorry. You know, and then it comes the name of the channel. Then you start to create the positive mindset. You know.
So we have.
Our friend said something.
Are you two?
Sisters.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
How are you, my friend?
Absolutely.
Make yourself at home.
Welcome, welcome. And if
And-
you've got any questions to shoot at us,
Please.
please by all means, anything. We don't care.
And you see this the how possible it is to change. It's we creating more empathy. We loving more each other. You know, starting something. It's so hard. It's
But-
so hard to start something.
But I think always as well, you know, Karma, many people misunderstand. They misunderstand the way that it works. This love, it's an energy. It's a positive energy. You know, everything love. It's I'm talking about this real positive energy, and the positive energy, love, is something that we can't explain. Sometimes we just feel so damn good.
Yeah, we can't vocalize.
That's
love,
right.
Of course,
That's
it's
right.
impossible.
But
to
at the same
describe.
way as well, many people misunderstand it's a very, very strong power. And if you are able to project it and people are able to feel it, it comes back to you.
Yeah.
It
If
works.
people-
It works in a circle.
If people don't understand what we speak about love, just imagine, do to the other person that what you would like to receive
That's right.
from someone. Again, I say I'm being repetitive on this, but life is much more about to give than to receive. So, but this love thing that you say, it's I can't understand. Sound a bit superficial because you keep repeating. No. Just be more simple. Do something that you would like to people doing.
That's right.
Just do this. Start like this.
Well, when I
Yeah.
train, I run a really big restaurant, and that's exactly the same way that I train my staff as well.
What's up, Chrome Boy?
Welcome.
Welcome, my friend. Make yourself at home.
So that's the same ideology that I teach my staff as well at work. Is that you have to look after the customer as if you were the customer.
Oh, of course.
Because if you are able to,
course.
and if you are saying bullshit, okay, which means you're saying bullshit to yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're being really passionate about what you do, that passion will be received by the guest, will be received by the customer, because they understand. Obviously, there's some arsehole customers, but we don't look about that. We look about the positive customers. And if you're being extremely positive when you treat your customers for whatever you whatever your customer base is, whatever your customer line is. I work in a restaurant, so it's customers that way around. But when you're selling anything, you know, car, radio, clothing, your software, whatever, your services.
I think, for example, I'm sorry to interrupt
No,
you.
good.
I think, for example, when treat others how you want to be treated. Right on.
It's exactly that.
100%.
It's exactly that.
For example, I worked as a waiter
Yeah.
for a period of time, and was also because it was a good money and because I wanted to have this experience, and it was a very, very good experience for me. It was very good because when I was always having this mindset of I was always going to the same places. I have this thing going to the same places because I know and I expect to be always the same.
Yeah.
I have this thing, the same quality. Consistency, yeah, exactly. And when I started to work, I did think, well, I'm gonna try to make things very consistent just to see what happened. And of course the results was extremely positive. Many customers was coming back just because I was there.
Yeah.
And I was receiving many tips. Sometimes I was making more money from the tips than my daily work. Was not rare. And then, of course, I already understand the positive mindset. Of course, it was already on me. But I managed to see on the field that thing working. Being positive. How are you? Can I help you? Be giving attention. You know, you need some help. Can I suggest you something? You know. And the customers felt somehow like connected and relaxed, and you know, and it was so great. It was a very, very good experience.
You see, that's why it's always this reciprocal energy, and that's why many people sort of misunderstand the word. When we use the word we love everybody, Karmo and I, it's actually the meaning of love is an extremely deep meaning, and everybody perceives it in a different way. But whatever the formula is, it equals love. But love actually is a positive energy. It's a positive energy.
It's the mother of the positive
That's
energies.
right. There is we can't find the minus part of it. So what you put into your formula, the other part will help you, and it will make this. I mean, the goal is to be positive, because when you're positive about something, you attract more positive people. You don't attract negative people. You are able to do more things.
Yeah.
You are able to be energized more, and you will feel the love of other people. It just works backwards and forwards.
And with just we say to don't sound a bit hippie
to
people. When we say about positive, just a second, my friend Kron, I'm gonna answer your question. Just let me give a brief explanation. When we talk about positive energy, positive mindset, it's not that a positive attitude that you emulate.
Yeah.
You just thinking and doing. The positive mindset, it's something who is already sink in your brain.
That's right.
You do naturally, became part of you.
Because you know what the result's going to be.
This is much more powerful.
Yeah.
Where are you guys accent from? I'm from Brazil.
I'm from South Africa.
And we live in Japan, in Tokyo.
We're in central Tokyo. As we go into the lovely evening, and we've had a wonderful day here today. And we're even having a better day now that you have all joined.
And you, my friend, where are you from? And you know, the positive mindset is the powerful thing. The real one, when you absorb. And as you said, when we are really positive, we have this positive mindset, we have, of course, the powerful ability to attract more positive. And I'm gonna even go deeper, as you said, about bad people come at us. They can even come.
Yes.
But we have the power to send them away without any effort.
That's right. Easy. And I mean, on our channel as well before, we have had actually quite a couple of people which...
USA!
Welcome.
Fantastic. Welcome, my friend.
We've had quite a lot of people actually on on our station as well, which have been very negative towards us. But
that's fine.
But they, as we usually always say, we gave them 30 minutes, and it wasn't us converting them. It was us giving us our opinion on the questions which they gave us. And eventually, after 30 minutes or more, they became our fans. So people that were against us with what we were saying is because we approach everything in a positive manner. And secondly as well, we approach it in a realistic manner.
No.
Not on man-made rules, on the way that Mother Nature will look at it and will assess it. Because always Mother Nature is not prejudice. You know, if you say the stove is hot, okay, and you tell a young child the stove is hot, if you put your hand on it, you're going to burn yourself. That's the way it is. We can't change it. The grass is green. The grass is not purple. Yes, you may get purple grass, but the grass is green, technically, right? And because the grass is green, that's the way that we are taught. But when people start throwing the agendas to us, and there's so many agendas which are floating around now, which people try to force this absolute fodder of their agendas onto us, Karmo and I will not agree, because Mother Nature doesn't agree, because Mother Nature doesn't care about. If you tell me up is down, and if you telling me that up is down, it's you're fighting against nature. Don't fight us. You know, you want to fight against nature. That's just the way it is. I'm sure Karmo can give a better example as well.
What we like to do, for example, is in the internet. I'm sounding like the old uncle. No, in the internet, people like to have this, these spoiled girl attitude, like let me just type anything and like let me be provocative, be negative or whatever. What we like to do with the good people who came at our channel, we like to sit down. It's like we are facing.
That's right.
Sit down, get opinions, get your favorite beverage. Let's talk about things. Let's be friends.
Yes.
What is the problem with this? There's no problem.
That's right.
You don't need to be like a asshole.
That's right.
And if you are an asshole, you are also welcome to the channel. Just don't say any crap who can offend people here, because for me it's just 2 steps: clicking your name and ban.
That's right. Delete. Just destroying something is really interesting.
Disagree, please. Disagree with everything.
That's right. We are
everything.
not.
We love everyone.
That's right. You don't have to agree with us, right? And also as well, we really, 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 really want your questions. I mean, irrelevant. We don't. We are not against anybody. Trust me.
But anyway, coming back to this generation who can't endure the
process,
the process, and the figures who represent some authority. This generation who feel judged all the time by people with accomplishments.
But don't you? That's right, with accomplishments. Don't you think, Karmo, it is so rude that the media can go so hard on Donald Trump and say the word hate so much.
Whatever.
But
this is a narrative war.
Okay, now hold on. They can say so much about this guy, but a little girl, which is 16 fucking years old, can stand up and all of a sudden she's a fucking hero. She hasn't done anything. She hasn't done anything to stop the CO2 or the environment friendly. She hasn't gone to Africa. Girl, you haven't gone to Africa. She's done nothing. And they can praise this girl to be the Elijah or the frickin' angel coming down. But Donald Trump, which has done way more, but they always aim at this guy.
No, the problem is...
Come on!
One of the problem is... And people don't like when we talk about Donald Trump, but that's fine.
That's fine.
The problem is, they don't want to listen. The people are in denial still. There is only our friend from US still there. It's like...
Thank you.
The problem is people get alarmed and they get surprised by the most silly things.
And
they make a big deal for things, like a 16-year-old Swedish girl with Asperger syndrome,
yes,
speaking in UNO.
Yeah, that's right, the UN.
and it's nothing.
I
It's a
don't-
balloon full of air, so people get impressed with nothing.
I find, you know,
This is very dangerous.
I find it interesting. We'll answer your comments now. I find it so interesting that the whole world, we're able to like something. We can press the button for a like, so everybody feels entitled. Thank you.
Exactly.
Well, everybody feels so entitled that if they can press the word like, they can use their emotion as the word dislike so damn easily.
Yeah.
So everything is so easy. It's
You
it's
know,
this.
It's like
it's
an
this.
army of likes.
It's like can't we make
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a conversation to understand what it is first? I'm not against. I think this little girl is being very brave and naive as well at the same
I
time.
think she's just a
She's just a
young
pawn.
teenager
She-
with bad parents.
That's right. Well, that's a good word. That's a good word. Young
That's
teenager with bad parents, and she's a pawn for people that are making a shitload of money off her. They're making so much money off
Yeah,
her.
of course, because it's important to remember. At the end,
The result.
the result, it's money. It's what matter. It's money.
Money makes the world go round, the world
That's
go
it.
round, the world
What
go
our
round.
friend-
Well, you know,
Our friend Kron said, LOL. Then she feels like she's immune from criticism because she's young. She stepped into the world of adults when she started telling them what to do. Who the hell who have two neurons who can rub each other and think on something? Who gonna follow? Who gonna follow? What? Or no, not gonna follow. Who gonna give a damn about a 16 years Swedish girl with a level of autism says? I'm not saying that what she said it's malicious, it's evil. I'm not saying this. I saying the put lights on her and make what she said like a law. This is evil. This is going too far.
yeah.
If I wanna,
She's a human shield. She's a human shield, man.
I'm gonna be very honest.
That's what our channel's about, being honest.
I'm very, very, like extremely pro individualistic freedom. If I wanna burn fucking coal inside of my living room, I wanna be able to do that.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't want anything created over a balloon of air like this girl, and start to become like something that they should follow. This doesn't make any sense. It's irrational. You know.
It's really surprising that the world is able to hate the person that's in charge of your country, in charge of the most powerful country in the world. You can hate this guy, but a little 16-year-old with about that much, as Carmo says, you know, 2 brain cells to rub together and about 0 experience in her drawer. Not despising the young lady.
And
She's
when-
got lots of energy.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, adults are using her as a pawn, as a shield, as a human shield to make a shitload of money.
No. And
To make a shitload of money.
Chrome, I really like your opinion, my friend. See, working class people love being told what to do by a rich 16 years old Swedish girl. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. It's about the mass thought,
You know, well, I like
the
to
mass
say-
thinking, which is
Yeah,
fucking dangerous.
And people that are able to believe this child, it's like, excuse me, she's 16 years old, and even if she's some kind of prodigy of some kind, which she's not.
No,
okay?
she's not
She's
special.
not.
No.
She's not a prodigy at all. Okay.
No.
Even if she was, that kind of thing. You mean to tell me you've got this much 16 years of
Arn,
experience? There's
if-
no possible way.
If she was special,
Right.
she would come with a solution, not a provocation.
That's right. 100%. That's what I keep on speaking about all the time. Is people pressing the like button, but when they hit the dislike button, you know, it's
Yeah.
easy to press dislike and like.
See,
Give us a solution.
See, for example, just gonna soon gonna answer your question, my friend. See, the thing is, talking about the Donald Trump, what we've been talking.
Right.
If you disagree with Donald Trump, with the former Messiah Barack Obama, or with anyone else, if you
Another
disagree, it's okay. it's okay, no problem, no problem at all. But when you are against your country, because you need this antagonistic presence who judges you all the time because he have accomplishments and you not, and you feel frustrated because this, and then you want to take him down, you're going against your country.
And he's fighting for the country.
Even if it was Barack Obama, the former Messiah, we should want to the government goes well. We should want the good for people, not being against.
Yeah.
You know, that's the part of the it's even hard to go out this way, the democracy. But that's the part. If you are against the leaders who was elected, if you basically you wanting the worst for your country. Of course, there's bad things are bad things. It's okay, but when you are against the institution, president or prime minister or anything, you going necessarily against your country. You need to want your president to go well. I want to the former Messiah Barack Obama do good politics. I want to the Donald Trump do good politics. Let's praise the good part, and let's discuss about the bad part. You know.
That's right. How can we go forward? You know, there's some bad agendas. There's some agendas which we don't agree with. You know, how can we go forward with them? That's what it is.
San asked, do you guys watch Dave Rubin?
No,
My
sorry.
friend, I don't know. Please, if you have some
link or channel, we would love to have a look.
We surely we will watch.
Dave
And
Robbins, wow, that's a new one.
you can't be a climate prodigy.
Well, you know, all right, okay, let's explain something that's happening here in Tokyo. It's an absolute load of bullshit. There is apparently 30-something organizations now around the world, okay, which has gone and these are all climate friendly, this friendly.
Go green.
You know, go green. You can't get the fucking energy. You can't suck energy out of a piece of grass. But anyway, and they've gone and written a petition to the AOC. As you know, that we will have the Tokyo Summer Olympics here next year, and they are going against the Tokyo Summer Olympics. Reason being, and it's ridiculous, okay? We don't, here in Japan, we had a nuclear, not one, not two, not three, meltdowns. Right? Nuclear meltdowns. We are one of the few countries in the world which has experienced this. Yes, I experienced this, okay? I know the hardship. I understand the fear, the absolute fear that there is. And the not knowing as well. I understand how this works. I understand the aftermath as well of how we got to be very, very careful about what we eat and what we don't eat. So if you've shut down your nuclear plants, where do you get the energy from? You get the energy from burning coal. Now they are against Tokyo, which has to burn open another 3 power coal sources to light up the city for the Tokyo Olympics, and you're getting these organizations around the world, Greenpeace included, etc., which is against Tokyo burning coal to light up the city for the Olympics. It is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
And San, you've been long on our channel, right? I remember you, if I'm not wrong. Was there more meltdowns that Fukushima? The problem is, my friend, the Fukushima...
The meltdown blew up.
The Fukushima meltdown, it's more complicated than people know outside of Japan, because they've been accumulating nuclear waste. Like, man, it's like there is the power plant, and it's in a big part of the Fukushima area, many radioactive deposits, which is being really fucking hard there.
That's right. And actually where rain deposits as well, in certain, there's a high lake, I can't remember the lake's name, up in a mountain as well. They had nothing, and because there was because of the rain fallout, there's a lot of radiation inside this one little lake as well. You know, there's some weird stuff that's coming out, but you see, the thing with radiation is you can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't see what it is. You can pick it up with your Geiger counter, but the unfortunate thing is the results will become slowly through cancer, through,
of course,
2-3 things, but you can't say it was, you can't say yes, this is related to it. It's not like a blue. It's not like you've sprayed the people with a blue paper, a blue colorant cannon. You know, like they're doing in Hong Kong. That you sprayed all the people like this, and then you will pick up oh yes, we have the blue traces. It's nothing like that. So we can't blame the government at all. You can't blame the government, and the government's got their fingers in every single pie. And you can't blame the electrical company as well, because the government's got their pie in it, but the government denies everything, and the government has shut everything down, making everything quiet. We don't blame. It was a fuck up. It's a fuck up. You can't unexplode explosive things, but that the world can come on, and they've just jumped on the bandwagon now. And if this little girl, with the momentum that she has, if she points a finger at Tokyo with all of these coal plants that are being burnt now, it is so bad.
And
it's dangerous.
And they will come.
They'll come.
They will come. You know why? Because they have in front of them something that people can't attack back, which they put the flag of nature, like the child and the nature. Because it's like they create this code of come on, everyone fucking know that you shouldn't cut trees like crazy and do those crazy shit and put things on the ocean. And it's like they use this flag of the nature that you're destroying the nature, let's preserve the nature, we are friend of the nature, and this is a fucking hard thing to fight against with logical reasons.
But this is bullshit.
They become emotional, they want the narrative, they want the media, and it doesn't matter if there is logic or not. This doesn't matter.
But Conrad, you know what was ridiculous? In this one supermarket, international supermarket here in Tokyo as well, they've had all of these people, these foreigners, fuck you, okay? Excuse me, but I'm being aggressive to them. You guys come in and blame them for the Japanese people, the Japanese culture using plastic bags. Oh, they use too many plastic bags. It's not your country. It's not your country. If you don't like it, leave. So they push them so hard that the people will not use plastic. Japan recycles all the frickin' plastic, by the way. So you know what they push them to do? Use paper. Excuse me, where does paper come from? It comes from cutting down a fucking tree. So you've actually gone in reverse. You have gone in reverse, you stupid idiots. It just the logic is is so stupid.
This nature thing, it's too powerful.
It's ridiculous
because everyone science child know that they should preserve nature, shouldn't go against the nature, and they kind of they become owners of the moral values because they are protecting the nature. So. And that's the problem with many people, which are don't need to say the side of the political spectrum. They think they are owners of all the moral values.
Right. We have a great question as well after this.
They think they create a fake narrative, a balloon of air, put many agendas behind, and keep pushing.
And not the real ones.
Pushing. No, of course.
And not the real ones.
Fake fucking.
So our little girl, our wonderful little 16-year-old, she comes and she stands up and she says, these countries over here. Excuse me, why didn't you put China and Africa on the list? Why didn't you put China and Africa on the list, which produce probably more than 50% of the pollution that's going out in the world? You didn't blame China and you didn't blame Africa. Because they don't have that kind of fucking power stuff, man.
No, because first of all, China doesn't care if they do. They have all the
and Africa neither.
All the media is controlled. Most of the African countries also have their media controlled or no media at all.
No media at all. That's right.
And no one fucking care about what happens in Africa.
That's right, because Africa is on the rule of importance. It's the lowest on the list of reporters' importance. Africa is the shithole, is the last place that anybody ever worries about. Yeah. And if it was that important, how come she didn't put them on the agenda? You know, I've got a funny feeling as well. You know what they try and do? Then Africa would say, well, we don't know. Or they'd say, it's white and black now. And then some people say, no, they throw the racist, stupid card. It would be really ridiculous, but this would probably happen.
Also, they aren't Western, exactly. And the thing is, they're starting to push this agenda of this eco-fascism, this...
eco-Nazi or something like that, something stupid.
Pushing this, and it's a very, very powerful shield they have, because who's gonna throw stones in the nature? It's hard to do. It's really hard to. And the smart people behind this being
very
very
smart.
smart. They being very smart. And be honest, I don't have much problem with this because I know at the end this is all bullshit.
Yeah.
I have a problem when, and then I'm really not gonna sound crazy because I think people today are more aware. The problem is when they start to talk about population control.
Ooh.
This is
Whoa.
no, this is when the things start to get from the like yellow area
Yeah.
to the very red zone.
Yeah.
This is a big no.
You think
know?
they're going that way?
Of course, because if saying that the climate change is caused by humans, someday somehow they're gonna talk.
Shit! Yeah.
Someday
You're right.
somehow they're gonna start to
You're
talk
right.
about control population.
That's right.
Even
This is the first step.
even if we get all the population in the planet and put in a part of the Grand Canyon, we just make a pile. This is the big world population in the planet. That's it. There's not more. It's a huge planet. So the problem is for me, it's when they start to slowly talk about the world population and this we got to manage to these.
You're right.
You
Karma, I think you got a really good. I think you got a really. It's a super dangerous one. It's a super dangerous topic as well, but it's a realistic topic. Going from, that's a really good topic, man.
Yeah. Do you like Jordan Peterson? I like some
Absolutely.
ideas of Jordan Peterson. Not all.
That's right.
Not all.
Not everything.
Not
But
everything. But
I think he's got a handbrake on as well because he's in a position.
yeah, I don't like much how he drifts to both sides to try to please some people.
That's right. He's in a position so he can't.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
He can't.
I think he would like to be on one side of the scale. He'd be like to be on one side of the scale, but unfortunately, because of his position, and I think I'm not sure if he's been warned or whatever the case is, but I think because he has a certain position, and of course he's.
No, you don't need to be one. He want money.
That's right. It's money as well.
Want the money.
It's
too.
money as well, and he.
Of course.
Of course, if you want the money, then you've got to be a sort of neutral. Don't be too much on the side. Be sort of in the neutral zone, please.
Yeah, I don't like this. It's like I want to tell you like. It's like trying to please the people from Troy and Athens.
Oh yeah.
You can't do.
You cannot.
You can't do. But he do have very very interesting lessons, and I have listened many of his lessons. Very interesting. But there is many things that I disagree. But it's just a personal point of view.
That's
but
right.
He's a great guy. We love everyone.
What about Stefan Molyneux? Do you know Stefan Molyneux? Or otherwise, who else, Mr. Peterson? The preacher.
Jesse Lee Peterson.
Jesse Lee Peterson.
Yeah.
Jesse Lee Peterson, something interesting.
I'm more on the classics.
Yeah.
Like I'm more on like Saint Thomas Aquinas.
Yeah, that's right. But unfortunately, there's nobody like that now.
Nah.
There's nobody like that.
Nah.
I mean, you get extreme as well, where you get Milo Minialopoulos.
Yeah, he's a
provocateur.
beautiful butterfly.
That's right. Well, he's a beautiful butterfly. That's right.
Yeah.
And then you get Ben Shapiro as well.
The Jew.
Yeah, that's right. Ben Shapiro. I mean, he's don't make a mistake. Everybody's got their niche.
Of course.
Everybody's got a little niche, and for our personal entertainment, why not? Why not?
Not familiar with them. Yeah, there's plenty of those people.
There's
but
plenty.
I would say the one with more solid content would be Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, that's right.
Definitely.
That's right.
He have more studies, more lectures. Even if sometimes he sound a bit crazy. Could you type their names, not Milo or Shapiro? Yes.
Yes, we'll type now. 1 second.
I will.
My friend, I'm gonna put this light on the top.
Here, on. Here, right here in the corner. Jesse Lee Peterson.
There we go.
It's Stephen Molyneux? I don't remember.
Stefan P. I think it's Stefan Molyneux. My friend, are we going to be doing this?
Oh yeah.
Stefan Molly with the X. Molyneux. I think it'll come up.
I have no idea this.
Always when I search for him, we always go on and it gives you the automation, which is given.
Here's different.
Let me see.
Then let me just Google it.
That's right. We're going to be googling it now.
Yeah.
Stefan Molyneux. Stefan Molyneux is quite interesting. He's I think more towards the philosophy side, and also as well he likes to look at the facts. I mean, it's not everything, but he has a very keen history as well. Jesse.
I did put that.
Jesse Lee Peterson. Yeah, that's it. Jesse Lee Peterson. That's right. Jesse Lee Peterson's interesting. Very interesting because him being a black American and him actually not agreeing with
That's
other
it.
not,
Sent.
not agreeing with, so those are the two, and not agreeing with the other black people, and it's so interesting the way that the people he completely disagrees. You know, when people start talking about the minute they start talking about slavery and that, and this is a guy that's actually worked in the what is it, in the cotton fields. He actually worked in the cotton fields picking cotton, and if we understand this part of it, it's pretty interesting. It's really interesting.
Yeah. And you know, again, coming back to the
Yes.
subject, when you have the problem of the people who want to attack the presidency institution,
Yes.
they are attacking the elected person and the chair of president.
Yes.
I mean, when I say attack, it's like the wishing bad. They basically wishing the destruction of their own country.
It's incredible.
Yeah, like again, like I said, if you don't like, for example, if you don't like Donald Trump, don't like the former Messiah, Barack Obama, or any of those, it's okay. It's your right to disagree. It's your right. But when you wish to their government go bad, then you're going against your country.
That's right. It's like what's the point of you
That's
being?
the problem. That's the problem when the politics and emotion mix. Of course, but there is no way to separate politics and emotion. I understand, and I also understand
That's the way they work.
Emotions are the energy who move things much faster than logics.
Yeah.
Logics usually it's related to consequences, not with the movement itself. But it's unlogical and dangerous when you're going against the president. You're going again.
For
you
me,
are a Republican and you got Obama elected. You wish to Obama go well. Of course you wish.
I tell you now,
Of course.
for me, it surprises me all the time that people can actually put on their social media, "What an idiot! I hate him." This and this. It's like, do you understand what you're saying?
The problem is before
You don't understand. You don't understand the what's the word? You don't understand the power sitting behind it. It's like, it's not being scared of the system. It's understanding, and you don't have to agree. It's like on our channel as well. You don't have to agree.
Yeah. Before I would understand people saying like, I'm not gonna give a damn. I don't care about what people say and etc. I don't care. But today, people decide their votes based in emotions. They basically decide in who they're gonna vote, looking Facebook, looking Instagram, and this is the this is the danger. That's the problem. And then those things suddenly started to be a big deal. So became a propaganda war, more deep than the Second World War. Because today everyone have a newspaper in their pockets.
That's right. So now that's right. Everybody's got a newspaper. That's right.
So
you can
the
search
problem
anything.
is, of course, it's the main problem of a lie. It's not proof. It's like untrue.
Yeah.
The problem is the damage which causes when it begins. You create a big lie with a good structure of lie, the damage is done. The damage is done. Now you have all the way to prove that it's not a lie anymore. People don't care anymore. People, especially in this click generation, they live now. Now. Who remembers Stormy Daniels, that big deal, the porn actress with Donald Trump? No one remember anymore Stormy Daniels.
No.
No one remember anymore. So you see,
And so what?
there is
Did that affect you?
No. Anyway, it's just a matter of all the time need to create something. It's the information war. It's the propaganda war, and keep repeating. Doesn't matter if it's true or not. Just need to have something to burn. Need to have coal to burn.
Well, they know that Bill Clinton was
Yeah,
working
it's all propaganda.
Monica Lewinsky probably, in the what's the main office called again?
The White House.
Yeah, the White House, the main office, the Pentagon. No, the Oval Office.
The Oval Office.
In the Oval Office, yes, in the Oval Office, and nobody freaks out about this.
Of course.
You speak about all the things that Donald Trump did way before the presidency. It's like, what's the point?
Brave New World. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see some people complaining like, but why they don't talk about the Hillary Clinton and the Bill Clinton case with Epstein? Because it doesn't matter. They are not on the top of the pyramid anymore.
That's right.
They're not here anymore. So you shoot, and then it's just waste of bullets. Everyone knows the guy like to bang minors and do his own stuff. Every fucking one knows. Everyone knows that Hillary Clinton sent people to kill Muammar Gaddafi because Gaddafi was having too many secrets of them. This is not a secret for anyone. And doesn't matter, attack them. The problem is they want to attack the guy who is on the top of the pyramid.
I heard an interesting.
It's the big target.
I heard an interesting thing about the daily cleaning of society. And what the daily cleaning is, in every day, as the clock turns 0, there is a big blade that spins around, comes around. And if your head is above everybody, your head is going to get taken off. That is why all these people that get knocked down all the time, their head was above. But let me tell you something now. Donald Trump, damn, he's got some hardcore protection on him, because that blade comes around every day. It's cutting everybody down, but he is standing on the top.
I think it's interesting, and I think people gonna agree with me, because he's kind of like he is a character, but at the same time it's himself.
Yeah.
So he's like a living cartoon. So when we hear those scandals, those things, etc., when it's about Donald Trump, doesn't sound absurd.
That's right. And
it's like it's perfectly understandable that people are targeting on him, because he have that posture, and it's interesting because he have this posture like, come on, shoot more.
That's
more.
right.
And the guys keep hitting, like somehow someday are gonna hit on the right target, but that guy have more holes than a cheese. And it's like, if you this is the problem with too much information. At the end becomes a balloon of nothing. So people are gonna get so tired.
The media is. The media
they've
is.
been doing since he became elected. I know they're gonna be pounding until the end, but right now it's like whatever.
But he's winning. He is winning so well, because he just takes him. It just reflects off and just shows them what an idiot they are.
It was the same way he won the campaign, because he knew. Come on, the guy was one of the most successful businessmen in the United States.
He made money from his election.
He know the press very well. He know everything. He know the system, and he know how the gears spin. And he knew that the media who attacks him would elect him, in the same way that the media who attacks him right now, it's the same media who maintain him highly popular.
Yeah.
Even if there is some numbers now saying that people think I was very negative, this Ukraine thing, but this is nothing. Impeachment, forget. Not gonna happen.
Well, impeachment is not even law.
Not
This
gonna
is just
happen.
congressman calling a person in. That's what impeachment is. Don't come on.
No, not gonna happen.
And excuse me, the law was made by who?
Yeah, and
Human beings? Hello.
and,
See, that's not real. That's not real,
and
really.
it's like whatever at the end, whatever, and the problem is this is the problem. The part of the problem, people getting emotional, and looking all those attacks, and what the real important thing is what he have done. What he have done. Look at the numbers. Look at the beginning. From the beginning, what happened with the United States economy? This we're talking about Donald Trump. It's a very generical example.
Yeah.
But see what happened since Trump elected. That's the thing. See the numbers, but people are more moved through the emotions. So, I'm not expecting that unless something very unusual happen, they're gonna elect a Democrat, which I don't believe much, but I don't have the complete disbelief. But I think he would be elected again.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think he's got enough momentum.
Yeah. And I don't know.
Don't make a mistake. There's some really clever people sitting behind Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Don't make a mistake.
Interesting to hear no Americans talk positively about Trump. Because it's what I said, my friend. It's about the numbers. The numbers. Not what people think or what the I don't like to use the media or press, but whatever. What people say. It's not about what the hoax, the propaganda. This doesn't matter. It's what he have done, the numbers. This is the important part, And the big beautiful wall.
Yeah, and the big beautiful wall. Well, I tell you what, I've actually met part of his family. I met part of his family, and they meet him every single year for I don't know what reunion or whatever the case thing is. And they said, we've known him for a long time. He's the same as he was before, as he is now. And that, to me, that consistency, that's a person that you trust.
Just see his interviews in 80s and 90s and see today.
That's right. He's the same fucking guy.
Same fucking person.
He hasn't
Jesus
changed.
Christ. What is
He
that?
has not changed.
And what I like about Trump, it's because he's... I don't want to sound too fan of Trump, but I like his authenticity.
Yeah. No,
He's a kind of person
he's
that
real.
you expect saying like, because she was wearing a very, very small skirt and I could see everything. This coming from Trump, it's nothing that you would like get.
Oh, excuse
Like
me.
for example, now you imagine Bill Clinton saying this. Wouldn't it be a creep? Creep. Bill Clinton saying this. Creep. But Trump is Trump. There's no hidden Trump.
That's right. You can't.
That's what I like. It's interesting. Of course, he has secrets. Everyone has schools in the closet. Skeletons in the closet.
Yeah, but even even with all that, and it's not like Carmo is Brazilian and I'm South African, and even we are not American. We still find it so interesting how the world can try and shoot this guy down all the time, try and shoot him down, try and make him an idiot, try and say that he's a fool, try to say that his hair's bad, or he's too fat, or he's had so many affairs, or he's done this to that girl, or something like that. You guys can't find anything bad with this guy, because this guy doesn't do alcohol. He's probably never done drugs before as well. His whole family as well doesn't do any of that kind of stuff. His family doesn't even have any bad history whatsoever. So they can't find anything to pull the carpet from underneath their feet. He's got a solid family. And then they try and pull out his daughter for speaking weird or whatever the case is with some certain politicians. So what? She's an extremely successful businesswoman as well. She's an extremely successful businesswoman. And I mean, let it be like that. So what? But they can't find anything wrong. Now, if you look at the previous president, and you look at the previous president, look at their family, and their family all the times, how many times they've been caught out, how many times they've committed certain crimes, okay? And trust me, Hillary Clinton is not the frickin' saint either.
I
You
know,
know?
she's a dangerous woman.
Oh, man. Come on. You know, we had all this entertainment of, Muammar Gaddafi for how many years, and all of a sudden she goes and kills him, and now she kills all the entertainment.
Yeah.
I'm not pro Gaddafi, don't make a mistake, I'm not that way around, but I mean, why do you go into another person's country, okay? And now look at the country. It's a fucking mess. Thank you very much, Hillary Clinton. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, it's they those people in power. They have some weird associations. That they associate themselves with weird people.
You guys should read
Victor Davis Hansen, A Case for Trump.
Thank you.
We sure will see, my friend. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much.
This thing of they have these weird associations, like Hillary Clinton. It's very friend of that visual artist in United States, the Abramovich, her name, which they have some crazy parties at their house, like taking
Ooh, now this is getting interesting, guys and girls.
taking bath with menstrual blood and semen and etc.
If you thought Eyes Wide Shut was bad,
they
you haven't
have,
heard anything
they
yet.
have. And the secret association with Muammar Gaddafi and his tent full of little girls that Bill Clinton loved very much to go there.
What, Bill Clinton loved little girls in tents?
Ah,
No, that's new.
yeah.
So you mean to tell me that he did more than he did in the Oval Office with Monica Lewinsky?
And this
Wow.
you see, and then suddenly the press realized that he was like having connection with Epstein, like one of the biggest pimps in New York. Like, whoa, suddenly, whoa, there is weird shit here, you know.
And you wonder what happened to Epstein.
And yeah, and Epstein, it's a big deal. He's a big case. He's like a Pandora box. That is a real shit. But of course no one is talking about this. Of course, because hurt many very known people. And we're talking even about Stephen fucking Hawking, the guy in the wheelchair, you know. There is some rumors, you know.
So that guy's a weird guy. He's all crazy as well.
Yeah, there is rumors. I don't like much to talk about rumors, but there is people say like Bill Gates, the Apple guy, the hippie dude, is Steve Jobs too. You know, some crazily important people. The Prince of Wales.
Yeah, the Prince of Wales. Yeah, the Prince of Wales.
So, the guy have the black book. The guy had the black book. That's why he disappeared. That's why he was killed. And
no, but it was an accident, wasn't it?
none.
Oh, sorry, it wasn't an
you know,
accident. Oh, he was.
And if we observe that there is a pattern. Everyone who gets involved with the Clintons, they end up disappearing. You know.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very fucking serious. But no, this is just a conspiracy. I'm talking nonsense. Don't listen what I'm talking.
That's right. It's merely speculation.
Yeah.
It's always speculation. It's just unfortunate that the planets aligned in that way that they fucking hit a brick wall with the car, or the car was driving along and then they had some kind of seizure that they went and they hit a pylon and they killed themselves in the car accident, or the truck driver which hit them, he'd fallen asleep at the wheel and just managed to hit the car.
I'm really not the kind of person who do those mental contortionism to deny the truth. If it's what I'm seeing, I tend to believe.
Yep.
I can see patterns. Thank God that I have a pair of good eyes and good ears, so I can understand. Again, we are the floor of the factory. We are workers. We put the blocks. We are the people who get the buses, trains, sweat, working, have things to pay, food to buy. It's
calluses to remove from the hands.
To put the we are the simple people, but we're not stupid. We're not stupid, you know.
And none of you are stupid either.
No.
You know, none of you are stupid
We love
either.
everyone.
And really, you should never, ever, ever be downgraded at all, or just say, oh, they're clever, that's why they're rich or something. That's not true. That's not true. Everybody's got something to offer in the
No,
world. Everyone's got something
I
to
want
offer.
to get dumber and dumber, because then I have more to learn. You know, dumber and dumber. But it's just a matter of see the patterns. See the pattern. Now we imagine, again, still talking about United States. We imagine if Hillary crooked Clinton had won the elections. Can you imagine what would be now?
Japan would be pretty fucked. That's one thing for sure, I know.
Can you imagine? Man, it sounds like a very, very, very bad nightmare. Like a seriously bad nightmare.
We'd probably be at war with something.
Because it's like the Democrats candidates now. There is many radicals and etc. And even if you're not radical, if you're like Joe Biden, you are creep. Definitely, you are creep. But the Hillary crooked Clinton was a gangster.
Yeah, that's
and a dangerous gangster. You know that.
Well,
that's the crazy thing. And when she was in the defense part, she did those crazy things in the Middle East and Gaddafi and etc. Because she commanded most of those things. Imagine that woman with the football Mary at her side, the bag with the button, you know. Yeah,
that's right.
And if you from United States, you know what I'm talking about, the football Mary, right? It's a box with have the
That's right, the buttons inside that the boys carry right next to the president of the United States of America, and it's like a heavy box as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a big tough guy, but he looked like he was struggling when he was carrying that box.
Yeah. So we can imagine what would happen. And now again, only if happens something very, very intense and unusual, Trump not gonna win. Which I really don't believe. The problem is, I don't see on this election. This election for me, I think Trump gonna win.
Yeah, me too.
The big problem is the next one.
Yeah.
What the hell gonna come? That's the biggest problem. I think a Democrat gonna win. Then things are gonna start to get fucked up again. I think if they don't prepare any Republican, if Ted Cruz don't stop to be like those whining bitch, or if Dr. Ben Carson starts to seriously enter on the fight for presidency, I don't see much. I really was my favorite candidate was Dr. Ben Carson. Yeah, but it's okay. It was needing a bully to fight against those guys, and Trump was the perfect one. You know.
But I think as well, if Donald Trump gets into power, he probably will. But when he gets into power as well for the next 5 years, you know, America, he's gonna set up some, you know, what he couldn't do in the first 4 years, of adjusting certain things and rules and that and regulations, and also as well people as well in Parliament, in Congress, sorry, as well. But when he goes into his 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th year, he's gonna adjust things.
But the problem is people should make no mistake with politics. It's a game of who gonna fuck more the country, because it's like if the guy approve a good reform in something, it's everything that the opposition doesn't want.
Yeah.
Because a good reform guarantees re-election for the similar candidate or the same. Yeah. So they're gonna do everything to try to fuck up that reform and break and stop that reform. They're gonna do whatever they can. It's what they've been doing.
Isn't politics an interesting thing of who fucks who?
Yeah, the politics. It's the
it's
art who fucks more with the smaller dick.
Who fucks more? I mean, they're still fucking. They're still fucking, but at the same time as well, it's this really weird and funky mindset as well. But that's just the reality.
Yeah, that's it.
That is just the reality.
But the United States, it's lucky because they have a blessed constitution, which is beautiful. It's amazing. It's fantastic, and they have a very robust democracy system. I again don't like to say much democracy,
Yeah.
but
Because
they
it
have
eventually, as you
yeah,
said, it fails
yeah, they
in the
have
long run.
they have a very robust system, and they have the power to change things. No? The biggest problem is still on the African countries and some Asian countries,
Yes.
and on the Putin dynasty too. No?
Ah, yes.
The Putin dynasty is there. No one say shit about Vladimir Putin or the Russians. It's like, let the Russians there until they start again to spread again.
That's right, but they're not. I don't
Just
think so.
kick everyone from Crimea who don't like, annex the fucking Crimea because it's fucking mine. You know, they until they start to knock at the people
The doors.
in Europe, no one says anything. But it's that thing that Putin is a smart guy, dangerously smart,
Well, remember, he was head of the KGB.
dangerously
Clever
smart,
guy.
and he knows very well how to play the game. He knows very, very well.
And at the same time as well, this guy, he knows the numbers as well. I mean, I don't know, some of the video footage that I've seen. I mean,
He's
I-
freaking smart.
I don't know if it was played, if it was set up, whatever the case is. But this guy all of a sudden, they throw a question at him, and boom,
Yeah, because
he
he's
knows
smart.
he's heard what they've been speaking about. It's like, dude, he's
And-
not getting a guy that keeps no offense, but in the House of Congress, you've got this one guy sitting in the House of Congress going against one person who knows fuck all about the subject. Okay, and then you're getting these guys in the back keep on speaking to the guy in the ear. Oh this.
And
It's
ma-
like, dude,
and
didn't you do your homework?
And Art, make no mistake. If he don't know, he make the number.
Yeah.
It's that how it works. And you see the guy who was working many years of his life in KGB,
Yeah.
and he's been that long in the power. That guy, I'm not talking about Africa or Middle East dynasties that they have some kind of protection. No, I'm talking about Russia. He
Add a
have
strong one that.
protection from the bottom to the top. That guy knows secrets of absolutely everyone. He's untouchable.
Not even of his own country, but I think of your countries as well.
Yeah. So that guy, he is very, very smart, very discreet. He controls everything very well. Controls the media, control the people, control the laws, control everything. If you don't agree, you die with plutonium poisoning, like in United Kingdom. He keeps sending spies to United Kingdom to kill people, and the British people, while they're drinking tea, the Russians are killing people on their soil. They don't know. They have no idea what is going on.
Have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Have a cup of tea.
The problem is sometimes the MI6 even know they coming, but they can't stop because the Russians have so many connections there that is someone gonna do the job. So it's hard. It's hard. And remember, no? The Russians they have a very strong influence in Ireland. Ireland very close to United Kingdom, and everything they have to send, they send from Ireland. They don't send from anywhere else. They just go to Ireland, send through Ireland, and go to United Kingdom. So they don't have any logistics problem to do anything in United Kingdom soil.
And Russia.
Yeah.
Ah,
So
I didn't think of that.
nah, that's okay because Irish people, not North Ireland,
Yes.
they really dislike the British people. You know. Which I can't blame. If you observe the history, I can't blame much.
Well, you
but
keep on fucking shooting and killing them and using them as slaves. Well, hey,
yeah.
there could be a little bit of fucking dislike going on.
This is
That's another subject.
This is another subject. But Putin definitely knows how to play the game.
He's not a stupid. He's a clever cookie.
He's the best player in this match. The Chinese, is smart, but I believe he's a bit too ambitious. What Mao was avoiding to do that much publicly, she like to do in public.
Oh yes.
He liked too much, and he have 2 daughters who studied in Harvard.
Whoa.
Changed ID, and they
Uh-huh.
have family there, and he's addicted and Hollywood productions. So there is a plenty of Chinese money in that industry influencing. You know.
And as we know as well, the same thing as well of how they're pumping in to many other African countries as well. But it's actually interesting as well. I was learning just recently, not changing subjects, but as well, but of the power and how the power is dissipated throughout the world. Is it's really interesting. Me being African, looking at how much money China is pumping into Africa. Chinese government, from the number that we see. Now, whether this number is real or not, it's a separate subject altogether. But the number that we see, the number that the Chinese government has said that they've gone and put into Africa, right? And what the private companies, completely private, not government, have gone and put into Africa. The Chinese government is not actually putting that much money.
You know what? You know why?
Because then it sounds like it's
Don't worry about those numbers, because China is the country who most created fake billionaires.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
They just, because it's everything covered, they just
That's right.
can't create billionaires, and this company go there and this there and this there. It's all the government. Or you don't believe there is real billionaires in China, do you?
Well, that's why I said to myself.
way.
I just said to myself,
No fucking way.
and I just said to myself, I can only half believe. I can only look at half the number, because of it being communistic. Communist means that you're going to change and adjust the figures as you prefer. And I'm saying to myself, that's a really interesting number. Why would China only invest that small amount?
Yeah, because
it just doesn't make sense to me.
Again, China, they have the much money as they can print. Because all their numbers are covered. No one never gonna know their real numbers.
Yeah.
So they just keep. But what are you saying? They keep printing money. Yes, they do keep printing money, and they buy a lot of stuffs. A lot of international companies with this money. So they just create billionaires and send the billionaires to those countries, and those billionaires suddenly start to invest in those countries.
Because for me, it didn't. I'd agree with that, because this is not me jumping to conclusions, but it's really interesting how and even you come from China, and even you have a different mindset in that. You don't just become a fucking millionaire overnight, okay? If I can just say one thing, okay, please, but you must carry on, okay?
Yes.
And the reason why I see this is because when a person comes to the restaurant, okay, they've missed the gap. They've missed the huge gap of this, increase. When you start getting more money, you start traveling, you start to see more different countries, you start to see more manners, more etiquette on way to eat, way to address yourself, way to wear clothing as well. They've missed this gap completely, and all of a sudden they are, they've gone from zero to the top. And I'm just seeing this, okay? This was going back a couple of years ago, and they've gone to the top, but they don't understand anything in the middle. And that's why you giving this this theory of becoming a millionaire overnight, it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
They've missed this gap, and the step. You don't become just a millionaire overnight, and even if especially if you've won a lottery ticket, you still are the same person that you were in the beginning. You got more money. So the way that you've been brought up, it shows completely.
And and people know, I speak Chinese.
Right.
I have a very good friend of mine from Hong Kong. He's a very, very important businessman.
Right.
Very, very important businessman. And he said to me in a conversation that he revealed, basically, it's not because when Chinese people say things in their words, it's more impactful. He said, basically, there is no rich people in China outside of the government, period.
I can imagine that.
That's it. So
unless you're living outside of China,
then it's okay.
That's
but
right.
This thing of billionaires, businessmen, it's all sponsored by government. They all obey to the government interests. There is no mistake on this. There's no mistake.
Welcome to the world of communism, people.
Yeah.
Here we go.
They can print all the money that they can. They can hide the numbers. They can make numbers. They just do whatever they want. No one have access. No one have access. Nothing's public there. There's no such a thing there.
That's
No.
why if your family is by any chance in the government, then hey, maybe you're part of the lucky ones.
They have a so high level of people domestication. They're so tamed, so controlled that people gave up their own personal privacy to have face detectors in Wall Shanghai. It's like, excuse me? You know, it's every fucking where, and people agree. Well, if it is for our safety, why not? Why not?
It's
People
not your
don't want to
safety.
take the risk anymore.
It's not your safety.
It is, you know, it is.
It's so they are
that's the
able
level.
so they are able to find you, use you, and abuse you.
You know, and now I'm gonna say one thing people are gonna find interesting. One of my Cantonese. Sometimes, my friend. Sometimes we read. Please make yourself at home.
Welcome.
One of my Cantonese teachers, she was from a rather small place, and once we was talking about stuff, etc., and she was super scared to talk about politics with me, and I started to see how things was crazy there when I asked about Google for her, and she didn't fucking know what Google is. And come on, if you have access to internet, it most likely you know what is Google.
That's right.
And no, she didn't have any idea. So the internet there, it's really, really, really tight. It's really fucking controlled. Those messages like Line and etc. It's every. Of course, we know there is no secret.
That's right.
We know there is no secret, but there is only no secret. There is the big control, big control.
And you know what, you wonderful Chinese people as well, if I can just say one thing to you, every single time...
Social credit, man, this is unbelievable. That credit who rates you according to your behavior, man, this is fucking crazy. Thank you for pointing it.
Thank you very much. But you know what's also really good as well is well, not good. This is really dangerous. Is every single time Chinese people, you speak into your phone all the time to do the auto, writing and that. What the hell is it? When you're speaking and you see they're not typing, they're speaking into the phone. The phone is recording you where and what and your voice as well. So that way they are able to track you even more easily. You people are the most copied and watched people in every single possible facet, not even visually, verbally as well. You misunderstand what they're doing.
But you see, that's the problem there. People are tamed. They've been controlled. They've been brainwashed, and they live under a very, very powerful structure of oppression, in a way that maybe it's not directly oppressive, but gives you no choices. Even if it's directly oppressive, if we see in YouTube, there is a case of one girl in China who was in her apartment. The camera was on, and the police entered saying, "You got to come with us to the police station." Why? No, you just shut up and come with us. Like the guys, and if she didn't go, they would beat her. It was very but you're only saying those. But imagine this
in your
multiplied by an infinite number. That's the power they have.
Well, how's this? They had some famous musical artist was in a massive stadium. Like, you're talking 50, 60,000, whatever the case is, maybe more, 1,000 people that can fit inside a stadium. They managed to, with this camera, visual identity, pick up, whatever you want to call it, and they managed to find 60-something criminals. They managed to catch 60-something criminals entering into the stadium. And they asked the criminals, why did you do it? Why did you know when we've got this equipment to catch you, why did you come? No, I really wanted to see the concert. I knew about it, but I really wanted to see the concert. Dude, 60-something criminals. You've sold, 60-something criminals. Holy hell. Now, whatever criminal crime they caused, I don't know. We don't know. But at the same time, if they can catch you just like that, what's your freedom?
The problem is when you have a too big country, the law usually gets tougher and tougher because you got to control many people. So they have some minor offenses which are also heavily punished. Like there is minor offenses that you can go to labor camps.
Shit.
Minor offenses. So this make people, but also the people should understand that the life is completely different from like Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Guangdong, and the other big cities. It's completely different from countryside China. Countryside China, it's primitive. There is nothing there. There is poverty, there is misery, there is slavery, there is everything bad that you can imagine. Like movies, chicken on streets, and it's really, really stopped in time. And when people see the images of Beijing, Shanghai, to you live in Beijing and Shanghai, you need a special ID. You need to be,
Influx control.
Yeah, you need to win in like a lottery, if you are from countryside. Otherwise, you can't go.
This is influx control. But isn't this interesting? I'm not saying this is a good thing, but this was something interesting that happened.
There's no freedom.
Yeah, that's right. In the apartheid regime, in my country, that is what the white government implemented on the black people. I'm not saying pro anything or anti anything. I'm saying this is what they did. But they did it for one reason. I'm not sure China is doing it for the same reason as well. You also as well had to show your ID card. Okay. This is unfortunate that they did this, but it is a system that I think they should have kept even today. Reason being, if you are uneducated from the countryside, country people, okay, and if you come to the city, what's the possibility of you getting a job?
It's the same reason.
Zero. You know why? Because you don't have any kind of education or any kind of skill that is probably useful inside the city, unless it is maybe washing dishes or washing apartment or whatever the case is. Still, even with that said, the probability of you blending into society is very minimal. You've come from the deepest, darkest country with a chicken running around. We're not saying against. So this was the same ideology in the apartheid regime. Okay? You had to have a card. If you had a job inside the city, right, a literal job, then you had a card to prove that you were working, that you were able to live inside the city. And with that said, what that stopped, so you say, well, why did they implement that? They implemented that because is when the people don't have a job inside the city, what do?
Crime.
Thank you very much, Carmel. They turn to crime. And that is why my country is a big fucking mess now after 25 fucking years of the new government. Hello, thank you very much. Okay, it's a big fucking mess. We never had those problems. Oh, but you got freedom. How the hell can we have freedom when it's a big fucking mess? We have the highest fucking rape rates in the world, one of the highest crime rates in the world. We are the highest in the world for any single female traveler in the whole world. Okay? Delusional. That's right. Okay. We have the most carjacking in the world. Okay. One of the most corrupt, if not the most corrupt government in the world. Okay. And you're telling me that this was a good thing? Oh, it's a process to go forward. Rubbish. Coming back to the little card. China maybe does this. I don't know what the reason why they do that for. Okay. But from my experience, being a South African, that's what they did in the apartheid regime. I was a teenager. I didn't know much about it. Okay. But I learned afterwards. So it stopped crime. When they did away with it, you had every single person flooding into the city. Now we have street children we never had before, which suck glue all day, which walk around in hordes. Okay, They only survive a year and a little bit, and then they die. We never had these problems ever before. And what did that start from? This started from influx control, controlling the influx of the people. If you do not control the influx of an unfortunately uneducated people, there is no possible way that the society or your cities will work properly. I don't know in China how it's doing, Karmo, but
in China, it's part same reason and part because China have this kind of tradition to retain the power in those main cities, and they want to spread too much development for countryside because somehow this can start some form of resistance.
Yeah.
Because they know through the history the China countryside was always very welcoming to resistance for the government.
Yeah.
And they have this fear too, and they're scared of those kind of things. But also the reason that people should stay in the countryside on the labor fields, not in the city. City is for rich people. Poor people should work for rich people. That's the thing.
Wow, did you hear that, everybody?
Yeah.
Poor people should work for rich people.
And don't say that I'm wrong. This is called Lao Gai, reform through work. This has been happening through the law system and through the government system to make people work.
For a long time, people. For a long time, before we were even born.
Yeah.
By the way.
So, it's kind of course, we shouldn't expect freedom in China. This don't exist.
It's communist.
But the problem is, again, going to Africa, buying Africa, which they're already doing.
Yes.
Then we have a problem. These fake billionaires, they spread around the world, start to buy everything. Then we have a problem. And as we speaking, they are much far than we can imagine. They probably have bought almost everything. Because again, the Chinese have much money as they can print. That's it.
That's a good number right there. That's a damn good number.
That's it. And whatever. And they are military powerful, technologically powerful.
Yes.
Influentially powerful. So, And I ask you, if China wanted right now to take Japan, what would hold them?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolute nothing. And China doesn't even need to fire one bullet.
Nothing.
Not that the international community would let them. The international community may not let them. And there's too many American base camps here. As long as they do not infiltrate the base camps, then probably America would sort of not say, I don't know. I'm not American, the top of America, I don't know. But they wouldn't. They'd take 3 days.
Of course, I don't believe this is gonna happen in any near future.
No.
But it's perfectly possible.
That's right.
And the thing is, people should remember, when Hong Kong fall, Taiwan's next.
Taiwan, you guys are next.
Taiwan's a matter of time.
Don't make a mistake. The only unfortunate thing, the only thing that's against you is the time. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just the time.
Yeah.
You guys are supposed to be given back by 2030.
Yeah.
But China just wants you a little bit earlier, that's all.
Yeah.
And like Karmo says as well, and this is completely realistic, it's not even a belief. It is, you have to go back and look at the Chinese history and understand the Chinese history of where Taiwan sits and how Taiwan was formed. And then you will understand, well, damn, if China's taking back Hong Kong, they're going to take back Taiwan as well. That is the next step.
And it's so sad because, for example, in this weekend I've been in a Taiwan festival here in 10 minutes from my home here.
Yes.
In the Ueno Park. And the handcrafts, the art, the food, the people from Taiwan are just so fantastic. It's just so amazing.
It's really interesting for me. I understand, the older generation of Taiwan when they were infiltrated by the Imperial Japanese Army, in World War II. I sort of understand the unfortunate atrocities and all the rest, but
it's war.
It's war. It's war. You know, it's not an excuse. It's war. That's the reality. And you've got to change tens of thousands of years or that we know of war and conflict, because war is war. There is no rule.
Yeah.
And with that said, actually a lot of the older generation of Taiwanese people actually can speak Japanese because they were forced. They were forced to speak Japanese.
Like in Korea too.
There we go. They were forced to speak Japanese. And if we look at that, I don't know if that's the reason why, but probably, you know, that Taiwan is very, very close to the southern islands of Japan, the Okinawan Islands. And Okinawa, up until the 70s, was actually America. America had kept the islands and only gave it back to Japan after the 70s. I think it was the 70s or around 70. So it was America. And I'm not sure how the Japanese influenced the Taiwanese, but I think probably because of being very, very close, that they influenced the Taiwanese. Taiwanese are still Taiwanese people, but I understand a couple of Taiwanese people's feeling toward mainland China. They believe that they are not Chinese. There are certain people which believe they are Chinese, but at the same time, I'm telling you now, Taiwanese people, the people that I've met, and their honest opinion is they say the same thing as well. We are not China.
Yeah,
we are Taiwan.
Of course. I'm. This is the kind of rebel part of my mind. I really do recognize when people want their own have their own national identity.
Yes.
Even if it's being done wrong, I believe that Catalonia in Spain
Yeah, same.
should become